I love it here. Now, let's get into the main topic.
It's morphin' time!
Where we're talking about The Flash. Still sucks. That's my fault there. I'm trying not to wake the baby when I'm recording this. I'm ripping him off YouTube here, I'm going to blame the baby.
Oh, wow.
Okay. It's the baby's fault, yeah.
Oh, interesting. You are just all over the place today. Feeling delicious, apparently.
What's the synopsis for this movie?
Barry Allen uses his super speed to change the past, but his attempt to save his family creates a world without superheroes, forcing him to race for his life in order to save the future.
Yes, this is written by Christina Hodgson, one of the minds behind Birds of Prey, and something named Joby Harold. Joby.
Yeah.
This is directed by Andy Muschietti, who's the director of It. I didn't know that. Good for him. Oh. That's cool stuff. I think both of them. I think It and the prequel thing.
Oh.
But anyway, not a big horror guy, so that's just me.
Right.
Starring Ezra Miller as the Flash and Barry Allen ×2.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton as Batman Bruce Wayne. We have Ben Affleck as Batman Bruce Wayne. We have Sasha Calle as Supergirl or Kara. We have Michael Shannon as General Zod. Ron Livingston as Henry Allen. Shout out Ron Livingston from Office Space. Makes a nice emotional return here after killing it in one of the cult classics of our era in Office Space. But nevertheless, we come across this name here, Antej Trau, playing the unforgettable Fora Ul.
I think that's Zod's right-hand woman.
Yes, yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kiersey Clemens as Iris West. Maribel Verdú as Nora Allen. Quick quiz for you, Nick. Pop quiz. Which spicy Latina mother did you like more, Miles Morales' mother or Nora Allen?
Nora Allen very much felt more. They were both good. I like the Nora Allen's mom. Maybe it's because it's live action, but she tear at heartstrings a little bit, I think, in this.
Oh yeah, I was just talking about looks wise.
Well,
who would you rather bone?
Well, I mean, apparently I'm like the hentai fan of the DSG, so I guess we know my answer there.
Oh, I'm right there with you too. I'm going Mrs. Morales all day.
So stupid. That freaking Mac and Goo. I blame them for that shit. Anyways.
And last but not least, Jeremy Irons as Alfred. We have a whole bunch of cameos here. This is, of course, a spoiler-free podcast. Do you think I should run through them, or do we just have...
Spoiler filled.
Did I say free?
Yes, you did.
Oh, no. Yeah, that was a lie.
Yeah.
Spoiler-filled podcast. So let's
just
read
kidding. I
here.
still hate you.
Yeah. If you haven't clicked off yet, just know you're about to get spoiled. Cameos and appearances by George Reeves, Superman, Adam West as Batman. This is stock footage. Christopher Reeves as Superman, as well as Helen Slater's Supergirl. I believe that was CGI recreated, though. So a little different, not just the stock footage there. Nicolas Cage as Superman. Wow. How cool was that? George Clooney as Batman Bruce Wayne, and Jason Momoa as Aquaman.
Yes, of course. Save the best for last.
Did you stick around for the end credit scene?
I did. How disappointing was that one? That was an all-timer.
Again, that was something I was spoiled on, so I was like, I don't care about that.
That'd be a tough one, but that like an episode we could do would be like tiers for like
best and worst, end credits. That's good. I like that. Yeah. That's a good one. We'll file that one into the old Tickler file. Wow.
Okay.
Tickler fire. That's you don't want to mess with that.
I don't even know. I don't know what you're trying to say. So I'm just going to keep going. As for the critics, so this hauled in, we've seen a lot of the numbers thrown around and everything, but Wes, you tracked down 139 million worldwide, 64 million domestic in its first weekend, received a 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb, and then it has a 67-86 split on Rotten Tomatoes, 3.8 out of 5 on Google reviews, with 86% of Google users liking this movie. That math doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Well, I can see this here because again, you get sold a bill of goods, so maybe you're not crazy about it. But at the end of the day, if it's a binary option, like I like the movie.
Okay, but I feel like and then fine. Okay. Anyways, now as for our rating and review, Wes, what do you give The Flash?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with the Google audience. This is an 85 out of 100. This is an enjoyable summer blockbuster that I don't think will age very well and feels fairly inconsequential. But I think they did some really good things and they had some nice fan service and member berries throughout. But ultimately, we're bogged down by a litany of off screen happenings,
Yeah.
which
And,
we'll get into.
and you said your grade was?
An 85 out of 100.
So when I first saw this, I was right there with you. I looked at it and said, "This is anywhere from like an 82 to probably an 86." But as I sat with it a little bit more, I saw it a couple days ago, and I was just like, like I got to go down a little bit. So I went down to an 83 out of 100. Good, but far from great. Whoever thought to put Keaton in this movie deserves a raise because when he showed up, the entire movie shifted for me.
It really took off at that point. That was like at the round, I don't know, 30, 45-minute mark, I would imagine.
Mhm.
And then the whole movie really lifts off from there. So I agree.
It felt like it was closer to an hour for me, and I'm not
It
saying,
could have
"Oh,
been.
who's right
Yeah,
or
it could
wrong,"
have
but
been.
that's what it felt like.
Hmm.
So if that's what it felt like, that's not and it was actually like the 30 or 45 minute, 45 is not as bad, but 30, that would be bad. That would be really
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
But it
But
honestly,
although it's like 2 hours and 25 minutes, though, I didn't think it was that long. I kind of enjoyed the ride throughout this.
yeah, again, like the second half, it just kind of flew by for me. The first one, I felt
Hmm.
like I had some moments where, like, oh, this is interesting, but then it's like a lull, and then it's interesting, but then there's like a lull. For me, like the first half was like a high C, and then the second half was like high B. So that's kind of how I ended
Hmm.
up at that grade. So
Okay.
yeah,
I see that there. Yeah, absolutely. So let's hop into the exit survey, Nick. Point blank, was this the best comic book movie of all time?
no, no, not even close. Like
No.
I just don't get why that needed to be put out there. It's just like it's good, like and I do wonder how that would have impacted. Actually, you know what, Wes? I think it wouldn't have impacted your expectation, your view of this movie afterwards, or mine. I'm going to give us both a little credit here because we've said the whole time if they're saying this, that can't be a good thing.
Right. No, it all felt stock. Like they hired a bunch of bots to take over,
Yeah.
all these famous celebrities' accounts and just tweet out the same thing. Um, yeah. So it didn't. Again, it's still the Dark Knight and the Christopher Nolan series. I think it's still the pinnacle of DC movies. Even Matt Reeves' Batman is up there too. But
Hmm.
this is not. I still like Man of Steel. Is I'm not sure if this is better or worse than Shazam. This is better than Shazam, I think.
The
The
first
first
one,
one? Yeah, I think so.
I don't not that's not how I felt, but it's like I don't think it's too far off.
It's there though. Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
not. I don't know. I'd like Justice League better than this.
The Snyder Justice League I liked more than this. The Batman I liked way more than this.
Hmm.
The Suicide Squad I liked way more than
Yeah,
this.
that I was forgetting that. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
I,
sure.
I
Yep.
like I like the original Wonder Woman way more than this. Harley
Hmm.
Quinn was better than this. So yeah, there's quite a few that were definitely superior. Although I know the Batman is not part of this universe
Right.
or whatever.
What'd you think of Ezra Miller's The Flash? The Flash is.
So I didn't finish the Flash show on CW,
Hmm.
but I did watch some of it and it was good. Like I'm just not a big Flash guy in general, but I do like Grant Gustin's version of the character more from what I've seen. It's just like
And
I
he
don't know.
didn't make an appearance in this at all, right?
No, it would be nice if he was like the Flash on both ends. And with what's
Hmm.
gone on with Ezra Miller, it would make a lot of sense. But my thing is like obviously the kid was a lot, but even Ezra Miller, but Barry Allen before he met the kid, the younger version of himself, he is kind of a lot. And what was
Hmm.
so weird to me too, as I was talking with Lauren about it afterwards, because she likes Grant Gustin's Flash a lot. She watched the show a lot more than I did. Like he with Ezra Miller in the first portion of the movie before he goes back in time, he's kind of like he's like awkward Barry. Then he gets
Hmm.
into this crazy situation, and then he's like normal Barry, like he's like down to business and like
Suddenly mature and like comes with all this like
and
yeah.
then kind
I
of
hear you.
reverts back to it afterwards. So it's just kind of strange to me.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a big Ezra Miller fan. This is the only thing I've seen him in. I liked him in Justice League, but
Mm.
I don't think he's a leading man. I think this kind of proved it for me. I don't know where he was, what other things he's done. Maybe I'm speaking out of place here, but I thought he was a good change of tone and comedic relief in Justice League. And he could probably be a good character actor because I really enjoyed the emotional beats that he hit. I thought he did a good job with that with his family. I kind of felt that a little bit more, but the all the comedic elements just felt a little bit forced and not all of them, but a good majority of them.
Yeah, I mean, I found the other Barry funny at times. Like there were definitely laugh out loud moments in the movie.
Sure, yeah,
But
yeah.
but there were definitely moments where I was like, I can't stand this kid. Like he's just, and I get it. Like it makes, we were talking about it beforehand, and you're like, this kind of makes sense, which I definitely point that out a fair amount. But still, like he bugged me. He rubbed me the wrong way for some reason. In the course of it all. But yeah, so the only other thing I've seen Ezra Miller in, to go back to what you're saying, he's in the Fantastic Beasts in some capacity. So
oh, that's right, yeah, but I didn't really. I think I stopped midway through those movies. Like I didn't even like finish either one of them.
they're a mess. So
Yeah,
I think they're done too. So
yeah, it's
whatever.
tough there. Who had the better Batman fight scene, Ben Affleck or Michael Keaton?
I don't think it's a question. Like Batflex was nice, cool. Thanks for showing up and everything. But Keaton stole the show, man, in every capacity. And that first fight scene not the Bruce Wayne fight scene, the first Batman fight scene is one of is next level. It was amazing. It's the moment of the movie.
It might be one of the best Batman fight scenes that we've seen to date, and how they used Keaton and kind of lived or stayed true to his era in that movie, only using the grappling gun and not really having too many other tricks up his sleeve other than like hand-to-hand combat. Thought that was very well done. Again, the use of the grappling gun when he's pulling guys left and right, in and out. That's amazing stuff there. Like that's like, again, some of the best stuff that I think I've seen from Batman. But I really like the Batflex scene there. You get him on the bike, you get him in that really sick gray and light blue bat suit there, which we haven't seen yet. And I thought it was really cool. Again, also really cool use of the grappling gun. He uses a little bit more firepower in this, but I don't know about that. But you get him, throwing out the strip spike there to kind of avert the kids and get the car, change it off there. So I don't know. I thought it was some cool stuff.
Yeah,
what I will say was interesting though, that both of these scenes were in daylight. And how often can you say that Batman fights in daylight?
It doesn't happen often, but the Keaton thing was it was in like that place in that Russia. It was like it was indoors.
Well, yeah, but they break out eventually, though, for the Zod fight. When he's like, "Don't die." Like you don't often see Batman fighting in broad daylight.
No, 100%. Yes, funny is I was actually reading the Nightwing issue I was reading, this week they were talking about like, why are you guys out in daylight? I just read something recently, like a Batman related thing recently that had that. That's funny that you bring up that point.
But I thought that was cool from a visual aspect, is that you really get to see, particularly with the Batfleck and his suit there. I thought that really showed it off nicely.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, because you probably wouldn't catch the blue if we're dealing with a night scene. It'd be very difficult to see, at least. But yeah, it was. You're right. That scene was good, and he also got a good laugh with the lasso of truth at the end of the whole Batfleck.
Oh yeah, you got to use that in there too. And it was, yeah. Again, I forgot to put Wonder Woman in there too as a cameo because it was just so quick. She was in and out like a fiddler's elbow. It was just like you didn't really see her. Yeah,
she was the first. She was like not counting Affleck. She was like the first one. So very easy to forget. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What was the most rewatchable moment or rewatchable scene?
I mean, it's the Keaton fight scene, I think. I mean, Supergirl's fight scene was definitely number 2. No questions asked. I loved what they did with her here. I really like this character a lot.
Yeah, I thought they did a great job with her. I loved it. And I loved it for a couple of other reasons too, which we'll get into in a little bit. But I'm with you. I thought Sasha Calle, who looked great in the suit, I might add. There's a couple photos of her running around there on the internet of taking some shots before she was like, in her studio or in her trailer. Good for her, she works hard for it.
There you go.
But yeah, all that, we mentioned the Batfleck street fight. This isn't a rewatchable moment for me, but I'll give credit where credit is due, where all the newborn babies are falling out of the collapsing building. didn't enjoy that scene because I have a newborn at home, so it was a little bit more anxiety inducing. But I appreciate the use, a unique way of showing the Flash's powers.
Yes.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of a cool way to do it. Even if it looked wonky, it didn't look good.
Yeah.
But the idea itself, I commend.
The babies looked a little odd there, but they do, like, they have their moments where they do a good job with the Flash's powers. But I think more than, like, not counting the whole flashback stuff, I think more than, like, outside of that, they generally did a good job with the Flash's powers.
Yeah, and it's tough because, like, after you've
Yeah.
already gotten X2 and what any other fast superhero there, I guess whatever. But we've seen Superman, I think, has done it in the past, right? But
Yep.
you see these slow down, fast scenes to show, like, there's only so many ways that you can do it. Eternals also had it with their
speedster,
super fast, yeah. But anyway, like, I think it's just tough to show. You there's only so many things that you can do.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what what movie the Quicksilver scene. It was Days of Future Past was the Quicksilver scene. Yes, that's peak right there. You can't beat that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and the Nick Cage cameo again. That was something I was unfortunately spoiled on. Going in, so but despite that, it was still really awesome to see because he got the biggest billing of any of the Superman cameos there, and he got the most time with it fighting off the spider, kind of fulfilling all of that lore that we've heard about. Is it Superman Lives? Is that the documentary?
I don't know, but
I think it's that, but the Kevin Smith movie.
It used to be on Hulu, and I remember Tim telling us about it back when our BSM days. Yeah.
So, but it was nice to see that come to life there. So I thought that was really cool. What I wish that they actually got Nick Cage for, but that's, I guess beggars being choosers there. What was your favorite cameo in the same vein? Cameo appearance, and did you have an issue with how they kind of did it too?
So I was surprised by the George Clooney cameo because I feel like when I saw it happen, I was like, I feel like we talked about it in some capacity. So
it might have, yeah.
But when it was happening, I was like, I thought it was going to be Keaton. Actually, I thought the universe was going to be a mess, and it was still Keaton. So I was pleasantly caught off guard there. But Nick Cage was absolutely the best one. Now, for me, yeah, you're right. Like that, obviously, I thought it was a DH Nick Cage. I thought that's all they did, or it was him, and it was like CGI. I mean, I'm sure he had. Obviously, you have to have him involved in some capacity, but it was cool. Like it was very cool to see that. And again, like I'm watching, I'm like, who is this? Like with the long hair, like who can this be? And I was like, I think he crossed my mind like slightly, but I was like, nah, it can't be him. And then it's like, holy shit, it is Nick Cage. They have his Superman in here. That's amazing. Good for him. Very happy for him. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was nice to see that to come to life. Although, like, they didn't really say anything, right? It was just kind of archived footage or like kind of looking back on a screen, that through that chronosphere thing. I don't know. Some people have some issues with like the AI enhanced Christopher Reeve. I don't really care all that much. People are like, just let him die, just let him live on in peace.
I'd rather it be stock footage.
I'd
rather it be stock footage of him. I mean, if it's AI, if it's AI, I'm not a big fan of it. But if it's CGI, like somehow modified to make it look better or whatever, then it was actually him, and then his family was okay with it, then I'm okay with it. But no, I'm all set on AI.
It's just a little weird. I mean, that's why we got all these strikes going on. That's why we're getting all these pushbacks. It's the damn AI. They took our jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I think that was kind of cool. George Clooney was great. I think he kind of has like a little bit of a renaissance with him as far as kind of becoming lovable. It's almost like my view on Spider-Man 3. It becomes so bad that it's almost good. Like I think he's almost entering that phase because, we'll talk about this next week when we rank the Batman.
Yep.
Because of course that's what we do on the heels of a Flash movie.
Mm-hmm.
but I think he is a great Bruce Wayne. Horrible Batman, but he can, especially now, like this current era of George Clooney, would be a great Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm very excited to go through that ranking because it's like there's a couple things to be weighing when we're talking about that character. But yeah, he's a decent Bruce Wayne.
Are there any unanswerable questions?
Yeah. Why do Flashpoint but not really do Flashpoint? I mean, you and I kind of talked about it in some capacity beforehand, and maybe there are some basic reasons, like we don't want to continue forward with Ezra Miller and everything, but it felt odd, like 'cause that is an all-time Flash comic.
Mm-hmm.
So to do that and kind of just waste it and not have like the ending still kind of be ambiguous, which kind of brings us to this tweet that we came across too from always a witty. This is actually a tweet that James Gunn liked, and that we saw some people saw it getting the rounds a little bit because of that. If my computer could actually respond and pull up the tweet, it would be immensely helpful. This is not
I'll fill the air with some burps for you.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
The dead space. Let's see here. So wow, it's taking its
still
time.
loading, but this
There we go.
making the rounds though. Yeah, I saw this earlier.
The ending contradicts the fact that the brave and the bold will have a new actor playing Batman. So is it safe to say that the Flash did not end in the new DCU proper, but a different timeline altogether? James Gunn liked this tweet. So it explains some of it all, but it's just like why you wouldn't do Flashpoint. But at the same time, like now you kind of can't do Flashpoint in this.
Right.
So
unless you get, some time between 10 years or whatever, an established universe, you reintroduce the Flash with a new actor,
and it's kind of okay because it's more for resetting a universe. But I mean, just I don't know. And I'm not saying you need to do everything in Flashpoint. There's so much different stuff in Flashpoint that we didn't see here, but like the bones were here, and it just threw me off. Like some of the stuff they just kind of didn't utilize and all this. Like Thomas Wayne is a Flashpoint story, like him as Batman. I would love that, but I wouldn't want to trade out what we got from Keaton. It was great, but there was other things just odd.
Could you have Michael Keaton be Thomas Wayne?
You could, but I think
and not have him be going back to the Batman '89 verse, but it's just a different universe with Thomas Wayne, and it just so happens to be Michael Keaton playing it.
Hey, I'd be open to that, but I think it would bother a lot of people. So yeah. I can't. Yeah. I don't think they could actually then.
Yeah, but right. Well, this was all about fan service here, so that is true. But yeah, I think some of the Flashpoint stuff that they touched on was interesting. You see the early reverse Barry there kind of peeking over the stadium setup of his time traveling, which I actually thought was an interesting way of showing time.
Yeah, I mean,
it didn't look the best, but having it kind of it's almost similar to Interstellar, where like it's all kind of like a library and you can just kind of push through and find what you wanted. I thought that was an interesting way to do it.
See, what like in some ways, like I don't like it's not it was an interesting change, but at the same time, also like you're just gonna ignore Reverse Flash. We're just gonna not do that because that's a totally different character. It's not Barry Allen. And this kind of goes into one of our other exit survey questions. So maybe I'll hold off on that for right now. But my other two is why not tell us who killed Barry's mom? Because that just gets left. And then why did anyone think the CGI for the Chronosphere was okay?
Yeah, again, we get that explanation from the director, right? Saying like, oh, it's supposed to be kind of wonky, but that feels like, again, kind of cleaning up a mess after the fact there.
Yep.
But just on the Barry's mom stuff and like not really doing Flashpoint, like maybe this was meant to be a trilogy of its own right when it started out and when it was written and when it got finalized, and then everything happens with Ezra Miller, then everything happens with James Gunn, and then everything else happens, right? Then it's like, all right, we're not gonna get too far into it. We're not gonna get into the weeds. Let's just keep this as self-contained as possible. So we'll have Ezra, we'll have two Barry Allens. We're not going to introduce a villain, and we'll won't explain away Barry's mom. And I think that's like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah, and when you put it all that way, it makes perfect sense.
Just kind of put a bow on it, right, and just be done with it.
Unfortunately,
do you think this movie would have been better if the trailer didn't reveal so much, i.e., Supergirl, i.e., Keaton Batman, i.e., the fight on Russia?
Yeah, I mean, this where some of this stuff is tough. It's like you have to put some of this out to get people excited because like you and I would have seen this movie no matter what. But at the same time, you put out like the average person, if it's like The Flash, it's like, okay, maybe I'll see it, maybe I won't. But then you say Batman's in it and it's going to be Michael Keaton for the first time in 30, 40 years, whatever it is. It's like, wait a second, really? So it's hard. But I think because you told me, I forgot this. But the first Supergirl fight scene was originally in one of the trailers.
All of the stuff out in the sunlight battle scene in Russia once they break free. I can't tell. Maybe it's from the moment they break free from the prison and they spliced it with the General Zod battle. So maybe it was like a little bit of both there. But you see all of that with Batman with Keaton's hand going up over the sun and then revealing Supergirl, and he's like, now our next move is don't die. You see General Zod jumping up onto the bat plane there and kind of pulling him out of it, and that whole death scene. You see a good portion of it. You see him falling down to the ground to his knees after. So it's like you get all these allusions to it. And again, you see some of the best stuff of Batfleck in his cool suit there. So I don't know. Like this movie right now is tracking to make less than 300 million, which would be so much, like right around 300 million. That's less than Shazam 2. That's less than Black Adam. That's less than a lot of movies that have come out in the DC that haven't been good. Now, these are just tracking numbers. They could exceed that. But I have to wonder, with the success of Across the Spider-Verse and being like the word of mouth and just the fan excitement, this movie had a lot of those like, oh my God moments in the theater, but they were just spoiled. And I wonder if that would have been better to draw into the second week and have that carryover effect just through that word of mouth and that hype if it wasn't spoiled 6 weeks in advance.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I agree. Like, you do need to sell this movie, and The Flash probably wasn't enough, especially given Ezra's off-screen stuff to do it on his own. I don't know.
Yeah, there was a lot. Like, in fairness to this movie, there was a lot going into it that set it up to fail from a box office standpoint. So
also just the month, right? The month that it's in is huge.
Oh, because it's June.
Well, it's June. It's Transformers. It's Rise. It's Across the Spider-Verse. This whole month is just, there's a lot of movies coming out.
Yeah, that's true as well. It's just there. So there was definitely a lot going against it. In fairness, again, it's a good movie, but I think that, like, when you look at some of the external factors, it was like this team was like set up to fail in some ways.
Yeah, and in theory, a movie like The Flash and the way that it's built, like, shouldn't really matter what other movie's up against it, But
I agree. Yeah, for me, that's
where we're at now.
It's a fair point, but for me, it's like a lesser factor than some of the other things we're talking about. But yeah. So, anyways, what will age the best from this movie?
That The Flash didn't save the day. That the heroes died. We had Batman dying. We had Supergirl dying, even though they did come back to a degree. Those are heroes that we had an emotional connection to. So unlike in, I don't know, what other movie where heroes are Multiverse of Madness, where we get the whole council there, the Illuminati council, and they all die immediately, but we're just introduced to them. So it's like, oh, I don't really care anyway. But this one, you're definitely connected to Batman, and you see this emotional connection. I think Sasha Calle does a good job of pulling you in and kind of rooting for her early on. So you feel that connection to her, and they don't come back to life. I think that's great. So the stakes are there.
Yeah, I agree. I think Keaton, I think that's a great point. For me, it's probably Keaton, but I think
yeah.
But like Sasha Calle, like, I think that they have to utilize her going forward. And I think we saw that there were talks of that already. Like, she was definitely one of the bright spots of this movie. There's no question about it.
Yeah, and I liked the emotional family moments were well done. I think that it got me tapped into it. I bought into it, so I think that worked, and it broke up, some of that shoot 'em up kind of super actiony for the sake of action type of stuff that comes with comic book movies. So that was a good emotional anchor.
Barry's mom was great. She really was. Like, the writing around her and the way she kind of went about things. It was the end where, like, he had to say goodbye when you had to go back into the grocery store. Like, I got emotional in that moment. That was awesome stuff.
In the end, it all comes down to a nice home cooked Italian meal. Pasta explains everything in this movie. Pasta can, whether it's Michael Keaton explaining time travel and the way time works, it's all works.
And I had pasta right before the show, so there you go.
See, got a carb load. I'm actually thawing out some meat sauce as we speak. So that's good.
Look at that.
What will age the worst from this movie?
The CGI. It's not even close. I mean, do you have anything? I have something else that I want to talk about, but like, CGI is the clear cut winner. For me.
Younger Barry Allen would be a close second there. I thought he was, again, to your point earlier, like he's annoying. He's supposed to be annoying, so it's effective, but it's still annoying.
Yeah, so much of him. That's the thing. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
I think if there was less of him, he wouldn't have bothered me at all. So much. But what else?
Everything, just what I mentioned, everything from the trailer already is aged poorly, just aside from what I mentioned. But even like the "I'm Batman" or "You want to get nuts, let's get nuts," like those moments, they were all ruined in promos.
Yeah,
you know. So when you hear them now, you're just like, all right, it sounds cool. But if you didn't hear that or didn't know that was going to happen, and you get the line, you're like, do the line. You're like, yes, I got the line. But now you're just waiting for it. Like, oh, here's the line. Yeah. Let's get nuts. Okay.
That's fair. That's a fair way to look at it. Yeah.
Also, did Michael Keaton's lisp get worse?
I don't.
Did he always have that pronounced of a lisp?
I honestly didn't notice it.
Oh, you got to listen to the nuts line. It's all over it.
Huh. I didn't catch it at all.
I knew he always had like a smaller lip. I just didn't know that it was this pronounced.
If I ever rewatch this, because I don't know if I will. This does not have a whole lot of rewatchability.
Oh, I'll definitely rewatch it when it comes out. Yeah, but I mean, it's inconsequential. I get that.
Okay, so the other thing that's going to age poorly for me from this movie, and look, this is a personal thing, and I think I'm pretty good about not complaining about too much about like, oh, this is how it was in the comics, and then they go and do this in the movies or a show, because we don't always want the same thing. Yes, we want certain stories to be respected, absolutely, and like character traits maybe too. But by and large, it's like, let's make it its own thing on the big screen. I'm just happy to have someone else playing with the characters in a different medium. But man, to not have Reverse Flash in this story at all, where like he is the villain, feels so weird to me. I was like, okay, I know there isn't any marketing around it. I know we're seeing another Barry, but like there's got to be Reverse Flash in here, right? And maybe that's just me being like naive or too hopeful now to like that news wouldn't leak out in some capacity. But it's just like, man, how do we get nothing? This is Flashpoint. This is a huge DC story from the past 20 years. Like, how do you just not do that? And then again, you don't even know who killed Barry's mom in this story. Like, that is very much a thing that's addressed in Flashpoint. So, and look, Flashpoint, the comic, is very different from everything we got here. There's so much stuff that's different, and I'm cool with it. It doesn't bother me one iota. I'm here for it all. But those are some like tent pole kind of things that I'm just like, how is that ignored in all of this? If you've logicked it out a little bit already, but it still bothers me.
No, I hear you. I hear you on that. How about some best performances by a side character? There were a lot of side characters here. You know, we can include some cameos in there if you'd like. But who's your pick? Who do you got?
It's number one with a bullet is Supergirl. To me, like, I mean, there are the cameos is kind of different, but Supergirl, she was outstanding. She like Kara Zor-El is very different from Kal-El. Like, he is obviously like, Boy Scout like 2.0 or whatever.
Is she more vengeful?
She is more jaded. Like, she has been through a lot of shit, and she's also like has to deal with like a lot of times, like, oh, you're Superman's cousin. Like, that's how a lot of people know her, especially on Earth. So there's a Supergirl story that I talked about on TLDR a while back. I think it's Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, I believe. And you kind of get that same vibe of her. Like that character was represented well in this movie, just looking at that story. And I don't read a lot of Supergirl, but that's an interesting story if somebody wants to go back and read that. But yeah, I really loved Callie's portrayal of Kara.
Yep, and if maybe James Gunn was to recast the role, maybe you could get Britney Spears, and you would have not Supergirl, but not yet Superwoman, and there's your movie right there.
Is that
like I'm not a girl? I'm not a girl.
Okay, I was gonna say there's
gotta be yet a woman.
No? Yeah.
No, a little bit. Okay.
I think for the listeners, they'll appreciate it more than me, unfortunately.
Henry Allen. Shout out to Henry Allen. Thought he did good. This was a recasting from Billy Crudup to Ron Livingston from Justice League there. They actually look a little bit similar, so you might not have noticed that. But
wow.
I thought, again, Ron Livingston did a great job kind of carrying that emotional beat, as well as the mother there, who I'm blanking on her name, but
Nora.
she did a good job as well. Nora, thank you. Batfleck, love. I mean, Batfleck's my Batman. I hate to spoil that week's episode, but that's on surface level, that's my favorite Batman. I would like to. I'll have to do a little bit more research before I settle on that. But also shout out Gary, Barry's roommate there. Nice cameo. Nice little appearance. He probably had the funniest line in the whole movie. The funniest moment in the movie for me is when he has the tattoo of who's the actor there that's playing Back to the Future.
Yeah, their world's Marty McFly.
Yeah, but it's a real actor though, and he has an upside down photo of it. Then he lifts up his leg, and it's just a whole bunch of man, leg, and thigh just out there. It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, everybody loved Gary. Gary,
it was fun. It was a fun moment. Who lost the movie though, Nick?
The CGI team. This isn't not even a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or do you feel different?
Yeah, I mean, Ezra Miller is a big loser because he kind of lost everyone's money on this, but that feels like a little on the nose. But my choice is James Gunn, Tom Cruise, Stephen King, and anyone else who was paid to send the same stock message on their social media accounts saying this was the best movie ever.
It's just so not true.
Because again, we didn't even buy it. Like you said, we're like, something's up with this.
I will say the Gunn praise for it definitely got me more than Tom Cruise. But I think we got Gunn and then we got the Tom Cruise stuff, and that was like that's what helped. Because if it was just James Gunn saying it and then I saw this, I would say, oh, okay, that's
right. But you also have to take it with the caveat that it's in his best interest to sell the movie.
Yeah, 100. I mean, it's not. Yeah, of course. Like now we know. Like we got to just go with it and hope that he does well, and don't think about those other kinds of things.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that's right. Who won the movie?
I mean, Michael Keaton, 100%. I mean, that was he comes back and he gets his kick-ass scene as much as his stunt double, not him. But Nick Cage too. I mean, hey, the guy wanted to play Superman. He finally got to play Superman.
Yes, absolutely. I would just go give a shout out to all the Batmen, but specifically Keaton. But I thought Batfleck was great. Again, I had a little bit of love for George Clooney when he stepped out of that car in that smooth suit. He had that silver hair. I could see him as an older Bruce Wayne. It worked for me.
There you go. There's your Terry McGinnis Bruce Wayne story.
Yeah, but also maybe The Rock won this movie. We just talked about last week how he took some massive L's. People were saying Black Adam was a massive flop and all this stuff, and he broke up the DC and left and right. And we were quick to pile on as well. But, maybe he can sell a movie here. Because maybe if these people aren't showing up in the theaters like we're expecting for DC and they keep underperforming, and he happens to be the movie that performed the best of the underperforming bunch, then maybe more can be attributed to him than the DC name.
Yep. Or you could just be polishing a turd.
Yeah, it could be. It was a long way to get to that point, but I'm just saying an argument could be made.
Yes, I think that's fair.
All right, so Nick gave it an 83. I gave it an 85. That's a CMM aggregate score of carry the 184. 84 there.
We've had some round numbers lately. We've been on point with our grades.
We've been doing quick math. Yeah, thank you. It's more just finding the middle one. We've been close and just like, all right, subtract one. We're there. That's good. So 84. So maybe go see this movie. Maybe not. Maybe wait till you see it at home. But it's either way, I think it's enjoyable.
Yeah, I think it's a fun theater experience still, but it's not something you like have to get, moving on to go see it, unless you're worried about spoilers. Because, well, again, there's a lot of stuff out there.
Everything's been spoiled anyway. So just go see it and enjoy the Batman die.